Your ego is focusing too much on your results. Seriously, it's your ego, right? You're like, okay, well, I need to get this done. I have to get this done. If I don't get this done, oh my God, like, look, all these other people can do it. You're letting your ego control this. All right. You have got to stop falling in love with the end goal and the results. Stop. Because if you can't fall in love with the little teeny tiny steps and the minutia and all of the things that you hate doing, then the results are always going to seem like they're way far out of control, like way out there. And you're going to start overthinking. You're going to start obsessing on it. You're going to start being like, oh my God. And there's a level of perfectionism. Ego, perfectionism go, ooh, those two are married really, really well. And so you have to remember that when you're looking, let me give you an example. I just left the gym. I go because I'm 52 years old. It's for your bones too, but you start losing a lot of muscle mass, right? So I'm going to improve my health. Let's say I was going to lose 20 pounds, that was my reason for going. That's the wrong reason to go. You do not go to the gym or start a workout program with the idea of losing weight. That can be a byproduct of it, but you do it because you're trying to maintain health. You're trying to promote longevity. You've got to start changing how you're seeing things because you're letting your ego drive you. Well, I got to lose 20 pounds. Summer's coming. I'm going to get in a bathing suit. My God. Wrong reasons. Listen, valid. Like, I hear you. I'm a female. And a lot of females, we have a lot of body issues. I've struggled with body dysmorphia. So I understand it. But when you change the mindset to it and appreciate your body for what it is and realize that that's going to also help you, by the way, with your eating healthier, while still having cheat days or whatever, but eating healthier, it's going to help you in a lot of areas. But you're going to have to fall in love with the stuff that you're not going to see instant results. And it's going to give you an opportunity. I've said this before. That's why I'm redoing this video, because so many people are still like, but it's hard for me to reach my goals. I understand that because you're setting, number one, make sure they're realistic goals, right? Make sure your goals are realistic, right? So let's say you wanted to lose 20 pounds in a month. Not going to be the healthiest thing. Really not something that I would recommend. So if you set your goals that way, A, they're completely outlandish, B, unhealthy, and C, it's just not going to happen, right? And even if you did, you're not going to maintain it. So number one, you got to stop it. You got to really ask yourself, am I setting my goals for me? Am I setting my goals for me, or am I so worried about what everybody's going to think about me in a bathing suit? Like if I'm using that 20-pound thing, are you focusing on that? Why are you married to that being better in your identity? Now, if you said, I want to lose 20 pounds because my doctor said that, it's putting extra weight on my lower back and it's really going to help my, my blood pressure and stuff like that. Great. All the more reason to lose weight. Don't just let it be on a superficial level. Okay. Now this is for anything. Oh, I'm going to start this new business. I'm so excited. Yeah. I thought I could put the location here and this is what I'm going to do. Okay, great. But there's a lot of steps you got to take before you get there. A lot of boring, mundane tasks. But if you're not going to fall in love with going, listen, especially when it comes to weight loss, going back to that, at any given time, if you weigh yourself in the morning and then you weigh yourself at 2:00 in the afternoon, after you've had lunch, after you've had some water, let's say it's hot that day, you're retaining water, you're going to gain poundage throughout the day, couple pounds. So if you go stand on the scale, you're going to be like, oh my God, look, I've gained weight. Get rid of the scale, rid of the scale. You can judge it by how it is. These are going to be important things. And I have body dysmorphia coming up on a podcast coming up in a not so distant future, but it's imperative that and just take that part out of it for a minute. Let's say it's decluttering your home, which I've said before. If you're not going to do the micro goals, but micro goals are still only going to be as good as your reason. So before you can even micro goal something, you're going to have to get very clear on your why. Do I want to do this to be more socially accepted? I mean, fine. That's not really a bad reason, but that can't be your number one driving force, right? So if it's I'm going to get in shape because I'm going to feel better, I'm going to prolong my life, all the more. But if not, you're going to have a hard time. And that's why you hear people say, fall in love with the journey. I've said this before. It's my go-to. It's the whole Super Bowl thing. If I give you a Super Bowl ring, or let's say I threw you on a you're on a team. I threw you on the Super Bowl game. I put you on a team and that team won. And you're like, woo, I won the Super Bowl. You are not going to get as much out of it as everybody else who has blood, sweat, tears, gotten cut from teams, gotten, hurt, gotten all of that. No, because it's the journey. And this is why a process forms in the journey. You know how you're always looking for systems? Well, I want to be consistent. I want to have discipline. You're not going to have it at the end goal. Like, you can't start there. You can have an idea of what you want so you can start working backwards, so you can like roll backwards so you know where to start back here. But your systems and things that work for you are going to happen in the journey. They're not going to happen here. And if you're mindlessly doing things like, I'm going to the gym every day, I'm meditating every day, I'm doing my journals every day, I still don't feel better. Well, because it's not overnight. Like, you're still looking for that instant gratification. That's your amygdala, your hippocampus, and all these other areas in your brain. So you're going to have to get clear with your why. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Okay. So think about this. Think about one thing. Don't be like, starting my new business next week. Like, no. Think of something a little bit smaller, a smaller goal that you feel is important to you. Let's say it's springtime where I am. I know in the southern hemispheres, it's autumn, but let's say it's spring cleaning. Let's say it's like, I'm going to clean my gardens. Okay. Let's say you're going to go weed out your gardens. All right. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, because I have to do that. No. Why do you want to do that? Because it's going to look better. Okay. It's also not just looking better. How about saying you're going to de-weed it and, clean that out, because it's going to help the plants that are there still have space and have healthy spaces for their roots. Right. So don't make it such a chore, right? Because if you go, I have to do this because I got to do it because it's ugly and I got to change this. Or you could say, listen, I'm going to help my rose bushes that I planted last year. I don't want them to get, number one, I don't want them to get overtaken from an aesthetic place. That's fine. But also you don't want them messing up their roots. You don't want them taking the nutrients from it. So you're doing the rose bushes or whatever else a favor, right? So you say, okay, well, how long do I think that'll take? You're not going to always know. You'll know after you do it a few times. Let's say you look out there and you're like, okay, it's probably going to take me a good hour and a half. Okay, cool. Set yourself up for some success. Get your gloves, get any little trowels or anything that you need. Turn on my podcast or some music or anything else that you got going on, and focus on, and sometimes I always say, don't do it with that. So you can put your hands in the ground so you can like hear nature, but sometimes you can turn on music or whatever. It's fine. And remember why you're doing it. So it's going to also give you a different vision as why you're doing it. If you're going to the gym, remember, especially as you're becoming older, but listen, and when I say, I'm telling you over the age of 21, at any time you should work out, but like over the age of 21, 22, and as you get older, you really want to maintain weights, right? I used to be a personal trainer in my 20s. You want to maintain weights because you want to build that muscle mass. It's really good for your bones. It's really good for your immune system. It's good for everything. So when you're doing it with a different concept and you're not married to this outcome, you're not falling in love with this vision, it's going to help you stop with the pumping of your brakes, stop and pump your brakes on the overthinking and the perfectionism and the chore, right? Because if you go, it's Monday, I gotta go to the gym. Well, it's going to be a misery. It's going to be a misery. How you see your life and how you see your day is how the day is going to unfold. So again, if you realize your why, and that's why I said, so why do you want to do whatever it is that's going on in your home? So think of one thing that a goal, a very attainable, achievable goal that you maybe have just started or haven't quite started yet, and write it down with a pen to pad, right? Write it down what it is that you want. That's cool. That is a benchmark. Okay. But make sure it's for you. Not, well, I gotta declutter the living room because my mom's coming over and, she's going to complain about it. Nope. That's the wrong reason. Nope. You can declutter because your decluttering may not live up to her standards. So you got to make sure that your why, number one, is for you. It shouldn't be, I'm going to lose those 20 pounds because my husband wants me to. Wrong reason. I'm going to go to therapy because my spouse really wants me to go to therapy, but I don't want to go to therapy, but I'm going to go anyway because I'm going to do it for them. Then make sure you're committed to doing it without any like resentment, because you can't force yourself to go somewhere that you don't want to be, right? I mean, you can, but it's just not healthy. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure that they're attainable. And that's the other thing that You can't keep it so superficial. Listen, we all want to look good. We all want to feel good. We all want to aesthetically please ourselves and just, we feel good about ourselves, right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that should never be your driving force, right? Don't go and start eating healthier or more nutritiously because of weight loss. You're eating more nutritiously because it's really good for your body. It's going to give you energy. It's going to really help with your immune system. It's going to help with a lot of things, your brain power. That's great. And if that means along the way, you drop some poundage or, and your energy is going to come stronger. Just don't fall in love with the ego side of what your goals are, because it's going to be very, very difficult for you to maintain consistency and the desire to even do it. But don't fall in love with that end goal, and make sure it's the right end goal.